And I want to take this time, ladies and gentlemen, to apologize to our audience for being so incompetent, for having such low IQ, and for being such Dallas Cowboys homers, even though that's the whole idea of our show. Cowboy Nation, what is happening? Live and in living color, we bring to you the Noise of the Boys podcast, a Dallas Cowboys homer exclusive from our studio at HQ1. I am your co-host, color commentator, Matt Longoria, and with me, as always, my right-hand dude sitting to my left, Uncle C-Tom.
What's up, everybody? Matt and I are just two true blue, over-the-top, die-hard fanatics that come together to help you celebrate those wins, but still find those silver and blue linings in the losses. We are here to make some noise about the boys. How we feeling today, Matt Long?
Feeling fine, as always, but tonight more so than any other post-game thus far this season. Cowboy Nation, your Dallas Cowboys are the number 3 seed. It's set in stone, and we're excited to cover this Philly game. How you feeling today, Uncle C-Tom?
I'm feeling great, man. I mean, last night I got a little bit lit. I was feeling myself. It's always a good time when you put up 50 damn points on the filthy dirty birds, so on that.
Absolutely. Uncle C-Tom was getting lit last night.
Sure was.
I am still getting lit. I call this drink Victory Formation. A little bit of rum, a little bit of cola, a little bit of fun. And we're off to a fun start. We're going to give you guys a little look ahead in the playoff picture. But before we can do that, we have to cover this game. Absolutely. As Uncle C-Tom said, it's always a fun Victory Monday when we can celebrate a Philadelphia Eagles victory. So let's get right into it.
Let's do it. That sounds amazing.
Offensive production. We looked fantastic. Let's pull up some stats, shall we? Dak Prescott was 21 for 27 in the 2.5 quarters that he played, 295 yards and 5 touchdowns, which propelled him as the Dallas Cowboys franchise quarterback leader in passing touchdowns in a single season. Now, people on Twitter and just worldwide altogether seem to really criticize this stat as, oh, there's an extra week in this NFL season and the ones moving forward. But little, or maybe you guys didn't know, Dak only played 16 games.
16 games. He's becoming a better passer than Tony Romo already at this juncture in his career, and it's damn impressive. I mean, you can make the argument that he has, good offensive line play, and he's got absolute studs at the receiver position, and he's always had a running game for the most part. Not necessarily this season or last season, but Dak Prescott is evolving into one of the better passers in the league, and when it's all said and done, he's gonna have all the statistical categories wrapped up. I mean, he really will. I was looking at some of the franchise passing leaders, and obviously Dak's my guy. Tony Romo, man, he definitely he holds quite a bit of records that I did not even realize. So shout out to Tony Romo. But Dak Prescott is my guy. So he's gonna have it all wrapped up when it's all said and done.
He is the guy for sure, and definitely will be moving forward. Only going to add to his accolades thus far. Hopefully we can make a deep playoff push. But before we get into that, we got to shout out our guy Zeke, man. He himself hit his own milestone,
sure did,
respectively. And what was that? 1,000 yard,
over 1,000 yards,
which is awesome.
He's the only player next to LaDainian Tomlinson in his first 6 seasons to start off with 1,250 scrimmage yards in his first 6 seasons. Only players to do that: Ezekiel Elliott and LaDainian Tomlinson. So shout out to Zeke, man. I know everybody wants to trash on this guy. I know everybody wants to, say he's washed or whatever just because he's not 2016 Zeke. Show me a running back that's in year 6 that is as productive or is as, has the same burst as their rookie season, as their second season. It just doesn't happen. So, what we're getting out of Zeke is what you're going to get out of him. Maybe even next season when he comes back, because he's going to come back, like it or not, Cowboys Nation, he will be back. But when he comes back and he's healthy, maybe we get the same Zeke that we got in the first 4 or 5 games of the season. But considering, everything that he's been through, the slump that the offensive line went through, the injury, just everything, like when you take everything into account, it's impressive what Ezekiel has done this year.
For sure. Nobody can really argue that. Looking at the stats here, the team stats, the Cowboys came away with 475 total offensive yards on Saturday night. 304 of which were passing, 171 for rushing, which is fantastic. That's exactly what you want to see against a subpar team going into the playoffs on a Super Wildcard Weekend. What I really want to touch on and tip my hat towards is the fact that once these records are up for grabs and you're in a game where it's achievable, lots of times you'll notice like they'll make a conscious effort to try and get that accolade, but it felt really seamless this game. People are going to say, oh, no, that they were trying to give Zeke the record. I mean, in my opinion, I believe that they both earned their respective records. It was obvious it wasn't forced because of how productive the rest of the team was, and dropping 51 on Philly is just fantastic.
Dak Prescott with 5 touchdown passes. Ezekiel Elliott, 18 carries for 87 yards. What more do you want from this man? I mean, only 13
touchdown.
I guess, Cowboys fans, a lot of, I won't say all, but there are a lot of Cowboys fans that want to move the goalposts when it comes to Dak and Zeke. And I don't understand why. They've been awesome. They've been productive players for the last 5-6 years. So, Zeke with only 18 carries got 87 yards. That's absolutely what you want from your running back. You can't ask for much more. He didn't get 20 touches, but he almost broke 100 yards on the game. And say what you will, I get it. We were playing the Eagles and we were playing the Eagles backups. I understand.
The commentators wouldn't let you forget that.
How could I forget, right? Because Jesus Christ, there's no way I was forgetting that. But needless to say, it's exciting to see. It's not about necessarily the production. It's about the burst. It's about the decision making. And that's really what it comes down to. Sure, if Zeke was, he had a run up the gut and he was untouched and he took it 90 yards to the house, you could chalk that up as, okay, we're not playing very good players. So, but on the same token, this is something to be excited about. Zeke jump cutting all over the place, finding that burst and hitting that seam. That's something we haven't seen in the last 6, 7, 8 games from Zeke because of his injury. And he's obviously,
slowly progressing.
He's coming back and he's showing that, the training, shout out to the training staff, to Zeke. Obviously they know way more than the rest of us. We all wanted Zeke to take some rest. We wanted Pollard to get some rest. Pollard got that rest this week. So That's exciting. But Zeke, man, he looks good, and he looks
There's a lot of well-deserved rest in this game.
Yeah, for sure. They look poised for a playoff run for sure.
I think, and a lot of people had hangups with Dallas playing their starters. Guys, it seems like a no-brainer. We're still fighting for seeding at this point on Saturday night. And some takeaways here. The Cowboys came away. They actually lost the time of possession. They lost the time of possession 28 minutes to 32. So that's and on top of that, they ran 9 less plays and still hung 51 on their division rivals, which is really nice. 8 for 13 third down efficiency and 2 for 2 on fourth. So that was also really nice. And we only punted the ball once. And on top of that, what's important to realize is all 51 points came from the offensive effort. You didn't get a single defensive touchdown or a special team. So this is something that you want to see from your offense going into the Super Wildcard Weekend. And we needed something to kind of build off of, considering how bad last week was. And this is exactly what I wanted to see.
Yeah, and if there is something that I am worried about, it's this rushing. I know that Philly has a decent offensive line, and they've got some stud running backs in their backfield. They really do. But, giving up 100, I know we were missing some guys as well, but giving up 150 rushing yards to the Philadelphia Eagles is not ideal. especially when we're going into a playoff game against a team like San Francisco that is as good and as efficient and as physical as you're going to find in the playoffs as far as running the football. So that does give me a little bit of cause for concern, but pretty much everything or anybody that you see in the playoffs, you should be worried about, because everybody in the playoffs is a good football team. They wouldn't be there if they weren't. For sure.
And this Cowboys team, we're without a lot of key players, guys like Tony Pollard, guys like Michael Gallup, who's obviously, unless you live under a rock, he's out for the season. He could have very well have caught his very last touchdown pass or pass altogether as Cowboy. But I think it speaks to the depth of this football team. You have that next man up mentality, and you have a guy like Cedric Wilson that can step up and make big plays in the absence of Gallup. And obviously, this game was also a testament to our defense. Sure, Eagles hung 26 on us, but look at the pieces that we're missing, and Trayvon Diggs and our main man, Micah Parsons and AB. These are some big losses, so I'm not really too concerned about how many points the Eagles put up on us.
And honestly, if you want to get technical about it, we only gave up 9 points in the second half when they were down multiple scores. Like, that's damn impressive. It really is, because it's so easy to take your foot off the gas and to just allow them to start getting garbage points in the fourth quarter. The fact that they gave up 1 touchdown in the third and fourth quarter I think it's impressive. And I mean, it was only I think it was a 10-point ball game coming out of the half.
Right.
But I mean, just an explosion on the running game for the Cowboys, 21 points in the fourth quarter. So there's definitely a lot to be excited about as far as, like, that's not a team that we're going to see in the playoffs. The guys that they were playing, we're not going to see players of that caliber in the playoffs. But it's just like with everything else. I mean, we're human. I think everybody can agree that we needed some sort of momentum, to get on some sort of roll to give us, a sense of accomplishment, give us some sort of confidence. So that we're firing on all cylinders come playoff time.
What I didn't want is to drop a game like this, regardless of not if we're playing the backups, but drop a game like this, and then, just like you said, to your point, go into the postseason with absolutely no momentum against a running team, a really efficient running team like San Francisco, who came off a big win. Win and you're in, and it just seems like that would be we'd be on the short side of the momentum there. So yeah, to your point, really happy we got this. It's a really, really, really awesome win. 51 points. This is the 5th time this season the Cowboys have scored over 40, which is fantastic.
That's absolutely unreal, Cowboys Nation. And even if the Cowboys do, I'm knocking on wood that this doesn't happen, but if the Cowboys do end up being one and done in the playoffs, this was a very, very fun season to watch. It is not very often that these kind of records are broken throughout the season. It is very few and far between that you get to watch the team that you love have offensive and just really overall, like, point explosions like this. So it was a very fun season to watch. Created a lot of really cool memories for me, in the least.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm more happy to have seen such a well balanced team, and like you said, we hope it's not a one and done, and we hope we make a deep playoff push, and it's our year, right? But if we can take away the fact that we were the number 1 scoring offense this league this season at 31 points per game, and scored 530 points overall, which set a franchise record.
Absolutely ridiculous.
That's fantastic, man. I mean, you can ask, what more do we want? And you'll have, people say, how about a playoff victory, or how about an NFC championship, something like that. But in terms of a regular season, the Cowboys did really well. Sure, they had games that they definitely want back. But aside from that, that's every team in the league, So hats off to the Cowboys. Fantastic regular season, but now it's time to take care of business.
Can't really be mad. I mean, 12-5 record. If you're in the AFC, that gets you a number 1 playoff seed. So obviously the Cowboys didn't have that terrible of a season. What is Green Bay? What's their record? They ended up with 13 wins.
13-4, yeah.
So, I mean, we're down at the 3 seed, but the 2 teams in front of us only, they're tied with only 1 more win than us. So it's not like, we snuck in like in 2018 where we had to rattle off like 8 in a row. Like this was a successful season as, record wise. And Cowboys Nation, you should be excited about it. Going into the playoffs, this is something to be excited for.
And in typical Dallas Cowboys fashion, you'll normally find them, like you said, sneaking into the playoffs, and it comes down to the wire, and we end up sneaking into that 4th seed just by barely winning our crap division. But it was very, very obvious the trend in which we were going, and Dallas ending up 6-0 in the NFC East, just absolutely demolishing.
Hasn't happened since the 90s.
Demolishing our division this year and leaving absolutely no doubt. And then not only that, but coming out with the 3rd seed. That's something to be proud of, honestly. And who knows what's going to happen this postseason, but I'm excited to watch and excited to cover it.
Yeah, and we're not hanging our hat on a division banner, okay? We just want you guys to realize that as the regular season has come to an end, that we are now reflecting and we are looking back and realizing that as frustrating as some of the games might have been, this was a successful regular season, and this is going to be one of the seasons that we go down, remembering for a while. Like we really will. Like there are some statistics and some records that were made this season that 30 years down the line, we might be looking at it like, I remember watching that game. I remember watching that season. It was crazy how that team fired on all cylinders. So successful regular season, and let's see what we can do in the playoffs.
Silver and blue lining your Dallas Cowboys and the 3rd seed in the NFC with a 12-5 record. That's way better than I thought it was going to be going into the season. Yep. So
what was your prediction? I mean, my prediction was 10 wins. I thought we'd be 10-7. So
I always overshoot by 3 or 4 games. And I think I had us at 14-3. But in my defense, I really foresaw us beating teams like Denver and beating teams like Las Vegas.
Las Vegas, yeah. That's probably our bad loss for the year.
Yeah.
Now, we are recording this during Sunday Night Football, so we haven't learned the outcome of the Chargers and the Raiders. So one of those teams is going to miss the playoffs, and it's going to make us look bad, honestly, unless they tie. If they tie, then they both get in, but they should both just kneel the clock out. Yeah. Like, don't even play.
Like, we're together on this.
Shake hands at the middle of the field. Like, hey, let's take this one down.
Now let me score. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Anyways, Cowboys Nation, here's what I want to cover today, at least in anticipation of the postseason. I think, personally, Dallas needs to be ready to win very, very difficult football games. And
I got some tough ones coming up.
What I mean by that is you have to really be prepared for us to not be high scoring. And this is the postseason. But this is where we expect the defense to step up. Defense wins championships, but we need our guys to stay poised and be expecting to be in a dogfight against some very, very good teams. And we've been criticized all year long having not beaten a quality team. And if there was ever an appropriate time to show the world and show yourselves that you can do it, it's in the postseason.
Especially against, a historic rivalry. This hasn't necessarily been a team that we've had, a rivalry as of recent, but going all the way back to the 90s and even before that, the 49ers, that's a team that we have playoff history with.
Yep.
So, I mean, this will be fun. I'm sure the NFL will have plenty of fun with this one. They'll probably stick us on a dog shit window like Monday night, and it's going to piss us off. But it is what it is. I mean, home playoff game in Dallas, baby. What else do you want?
I mean, it's fantastic. With an opportunity to potentially host another playoff game. It just depends on where the cards fall. So we're excited to see that silver and blue lining from this season, Cowboys Nation. We are in the postseason. We haven't been able to say that in 3 years now.
3 years.
So
last time they won a playoff game was the one we were at.
Right. And get excited. There's obviously reason to worry, but any team can say that. Okay. Postseason is much different from regular season. Every team knows it's in their head, win or go home. And it's just going to be what kind of Dallas Cowboys team do we got? What kind of Dallas Cowboys team comes out to play? And I'm hoping it's the winning Cowboys team that we know and love.
And as much as, we're looking at San Francisco like, holy crap, man, like they can really run the football like that. their play action game, all of that good stuff. Like they got Ayuk, they've got Deebo Samuel, they've got some playmakers that makes me really nervous. I'm sure 49ers fans are looking over at the same side saying, man, Ezekiel Elliott, he showed
Trayvon, Micah. Oh, gosh.
Yeah, it's like, oh, man, Micah's going to cause some havoc. We're going to have to figure out ways to get the ball out fast, So they're looking at us the exact same way. We're not to be taken lightly either. So I think it's going to be, I don't think this is going to be like if we were playing the Eagles. Like, I think this is going to be a tough playoff game.
Yeah, I mean, what I was telling Uncle C-Town before we went on air is, I mean, we've not played this game, and we've not played this team all year long. Also, they're coming off a very high momentum game. They were down. They overcame a 17-point deficit against a very good Rams team. Rams just crumbled in the end there. It was really nice to see. I didn't know that meant we were going to face San Fran, but guess what? That's who we drew. And Cowboys just need to be ready for anything because we haven't faced them this year. We haven't really looked at them a whole lot this year. But I trust in our coaching staff and the preparation of our guys to come out and get this one done and move on to bigger and better things. But I really wanted to go into our Twitter poll. We really asked our audience. We asked you guys at Noise of the Boys on Twitter. Follow us for the chance and the possibilities of taking place and interacting with us in our polls and talking to us. Very, very live and in person. But what do we got for our polls here on Twitter?
Yeah, so for the poll, we got 70 votes on this one. So shout out to all of our followers. Follow us on Twitter at Noise of the Boys Podcast. We like to talk that ish. Okay, we like to live tweet the games. We like to mess with Eagles fans because your bum ass lost by 25 points. So follow us at Noise of the Boys. Interact with us. Ask us questions. We love talking to y'all. So the poll says, the question was, in order for the Cowboys to make a deep playoff run, what has to happen first? And the options were get Amari Cooper the ball, offensive line plays better, Dak plays better, defense shuts down the run. And the option with the least amount of votes was defense shut down the run at 5.7%. Amari Cooper gets the ball at 15.7%. Dak plays better at 35.7%. Not sure how much better Dak could play, but we'll have to see. And offensive line play gets better was the overwhelming consensus at 43%. So 43% of y'all thought that if this offensive line play gets better, everything will kind of fall into place. And I guess I can kind of agree with that.
Certainly. And if I think the runner-up of that was Dak Prescott playing better.
Yeah.
I think that personally, Dak needs to come out and play with the confidence that he does against his division rivals in Washington, New York Football Giants, and Philadelphia. I think if he can come out and play with that kind of confidence and throw the football the way that, as effectively as he has been against those guys, will be fantastic. And for me, it's just tightening up some screws and really capitalizing on those plays in games past where he really won it back, overthrowing wide open guys, throwing it slightly behind them. Dak just needs to leave no doubt in the eyes of his competitor. Who cares what anybody else says, but get the ball in front of your guys and let them do the rest. That's what they're there for.
Yeah, and if the offensive line can seriously figure out these little things that they're messing up, and it really is just little things here and there. And I think that getting Tyron back, hopefully he'll be completely healthy. But really, honestly, I kind of feel like the entire offensive line has been up and down outside of Zach Martin. And I think that you're going to have to either address the center or guard position come the NFL draft this year. But that is a conversation for a later time. But if the offensive line can just play just a smidge better and just get Dak an extra second, give Zeke a hole to give him 2 or 3 extra yards. I really do feel like everything else is going to fall into place in this because at the beginning of the season, I feel like that's why the offense was doing so well. The offensive line was healthy. We had that continuity. So
yeah, I personally feel like it can be a give and take. I feel like Dak and this offensive line could even compromise. Give Dak a half second more, and Dak can get rid of it a half second sooner. So it can be definitely a complimentary type of give and take type of deal. But I think that and pray that they figure it out before we get into our first game where we host San Francisco.
They've definitely looked a lot better, though, so silver and blue lining.
Absolutely. What else?
All right, so we do have another Twitter poll, one more that we did. The last Twitter poll was that was after the game, or actually, I'm sorry, that was a couple of days before the game. Immediately following the game, we asked, who do you want to see in the first round? And the options are the Rams, Cardinals, 49ers, doesn't matter, barbecue chicken. And 40% said it doesn't matter. Cowboys Nation, I love where your head is at.
That's the mentality
You
that
do
we
not
need.
care. You do not care. But I will say the Rams got 0%, so nobody wants to see the Rams apparently. Cardinals got 36%. So, I love where we're at on this Cowboys Nation. You guys were saying either A, it doesn't matter, line them up, we don't care, or B, bring on the Cardinals. It's like, we're not scared. Let's play them again. We'll beat their ass. We're not scared of them. But we did draw the 49ers, which was the third option at 24%. So, but Cowboys Nation, love where your head's at. I'm with you. I'm with you on that.
Seriously. That's the mentality that we need to have. And I want to take this time, ladies and gentlemen, to apologize to our audience for being so incompetent, for having such low IQ, and for being such Dallas Cowboys homers, even though that's the whole idea of our show.
Yeah. If only we had a higher IQ, then maybe you guys would find some more benefit out of this.
So shout out to Twitter trolls. We definitely appreciate you guys. If anything, it helps us with the traction. So keep it coming. We love it. And to the future Twitter trolls, we definitely invite you to have a spot in our show so we can talk to you exactly about anything that you'd like, and we can test our football IQ in that realm. Before we get out of here, we're going to look at some noteworthy stats from the game and from the year, and Uncle C's Tom's going to take that away.
Yeah, I really, not necessarily from the game, but more so the overall season. This is as bad as Dak has played at times this year. He still found a way to make it his best season. In 2019, he did throw for just short of a little bit more than 500 yards more in 2019 than he did this season. But I mean, the rating is very similar to 2016. He had a 104.2 rating this year. That is similar to what he had in 2016. In 2016, he had a 104.9. And we all know how good he was and how much we loved him in 2016. So don't move the goalpost, Cowboys Nation. He had a 69% completion percentage. That is a career high. 4,449 passing yards, second highest of his career. 37 touchdown passes. Obviously, we know career high, Cowboys franchise record, and did all of this while only throwing 10 interceptions. What do you want? What more do you want from the guy, Cowboys Nation? If this is Patrick Mahomes and he's sitting with a 12-5 record with these numbers,
as they are,
finishing. I'm not sure how they performed in December, but they were on an 8 or 9 game winning streak, I believe.
Yeah.
Cowboys finished 5-1 in their last 6 games, like we predicted, or at least we were calling for. I mean, nobody's saying that Patrick Mahomes isn't playing well or that he's not living up to his contract, blah, blah, blah. I think the numbers speak for themselves. He's got the record. He's got the franchise records. He's got the touchdowns. He's got the yards. Dak has had an outstanding season as bad as he has played, and I think that is the mark of somebody that is going to become an elite quarterback.
Certainly agreed. Dak Prescott, FTW. Dak Prescott, comeback player of the year.
Certainly.
Has
to be.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you've made it this far, we want to thank you for your time and attention and hope that you've learned something of value here in the last half hour. Smash that thumbs up button, comment below, and activate that bell button so that you can be the first to know when a new episode of Noise of the Boys is dropped. And with that, we are out of here. Matt Longoria and Uncle C Tom, we will see each and every one of you for the pregame report.
Peace!